Fever dog! Woo! Woo! Fever! Good dub. Ugly, but we found a way to win. Woo.
Here's a revenge stat that'll give you chills. After being out-rebounded and overpowered by the Atlanta Dream, in a narrow loss on May 20th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever came back with a statement. Just 2 days later, they flipped the script, outscoring the Dream 46-20 in the paint and shutting down Brittney Griner, who managed only 5 points before fouling out in their May 22nd rematch.
Hey, Steph. This question is for you. I just wanted to talk about what you saw out of your team that was different from Tuesday. Obviously, it's a quick turn, but how did you feel like your adjustments paid off on the court?
I felt like our defensive energy, physicality, disruptiveness was better. We made it more difficult for them, moving the ball around the perimeter. We executed better in our ball screen defense. Felt like we had each other's back a little bit more.
The same team that had just suffered a narrow loss at home turned around and came to Atlanta, dominating in the most satisfying way possible. That kind of quick adjustment shows exactly why this Fever squad is built for championship runs. And stick around. We're breaking down the heated moment between Caitlin Clark and an Atlanta Dream player, including the shocking words exchanged on the court. What did this win reveal about Clark's ability to lead a team loaded with all-stars and scoring options on any given night? Comment "Fired up for the Fever" below to show your pride in the win. Let's go.
There's one thing this Indiana Fever team has shown us they will do this year. It's not quit on the game. The Indiana Fever down early, come back, take the lead. Down late, come back, take the lead. The only difference between tonight's outcome and Tuesday's outcome is a letter.
Picture this. Just 2 days before their revenge game, the Indiana Fever walked off their home court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, feeling completely deflated after a 91-90 loss to Atlanta. It wasn't just another game that slipped away. It was the kind of defeat that lays bare every flaw, every weakness, and everything that needs fixing.
Yes, this stinks. We want to win this game. But, I think this is great for our team. A little adversity. How are we going to respond? How are we going to come in here tomorrow morning and watch the film and learn and get on the court and get better? And like I said, that's why this league is so great. You have a couple days and then you get right back to it. You find a way to respond. We have a chance to go there and play them, actually. So it's even better, I guess. We can, get a little redemption if we go down there and play well.
That loss wasn't just a typical regular season stumble. It exposed every crack the Fever had been trying to cover up. Atlanta came into Gainbridge Fieldhouse and dominated in ways that shouldn't have been possible on Indiana's home court. The Dream controlled the boards and bullied them in the paint, making it look effortless. Brittney Griner delivered exactly what you'd expect against a smaller Fever lineup, scoring 21 points with ease, while Indiana had no real answer for her power inside. Natasha Howard added 20 more, slicing through the defense from all directions. To make matters worse, Atlanta went 25 of 32 from the free throw line, while Indiana only hit 16 of 26, with those missed opportunities proving costly in the 1-point loss.
They shot 32 free throws. It's a lot of free throws. Going to be difficult to win a lot of games when we foul people that much and put them at the line that much. It's tough. They made 25 out of 32. We still went to the line 26 times, missed 10. So that's the game really right there. It obviously doesn't come down to that, but it's just a little thing.
But here's what most people missed about that loss. The Fever weren't just losing, they were learning. Behind the scenes, they were studying every detail. Coach Stephanie White admitted after the game, "I don't feel like we match up well with them." She recognized Atlanta's Olympians, their size, their perimeter skills, and their veteran experience. But even in that moment, White and her staff were already working on a new plan, a different approach to flip the narrative.
Proud of our fight, the toughness that we showed, our ability to stay together. Our bench was really engaged in every timeout and in every huddle. We were all engaged.
The players walked out of that locker room with a different kind of energy. This wasn't your typical post-loss mood. In the 48 hours between games, everything changed. That heartbreaking home loss became the fuel for one of the most satisfying road wins of the season. The question wasn't whether the Fever would bounce back, it was how they were going to make Atlanta pay for embarrassing them on their own floor.
Tuesday, we couldn't seal the deal. We lost it at the free throw line. Tonight, we sealed the deal. Tonight, we took the lead late in the fourth after being down 75-71 with 3 minutes left. We take the lead and we don't look back. The Indiana Fever leave the ATL with an 81-76 victory, and this game was pretty. Man, this game was pretty. Pretty ugly.
Here's something that would have terrified Fever fans just a few months ago. Caitlin Clark went 0 for 5 from three-point range. She shot just 4 of 11 from the field, finishing with only 11 points, well below her usual standards. For the first time since January 13, 2022, Clark played a game without making a single three-pointer. It was the first time since her sophomore year at Iowa that she failed to connect from beyond the arc.
What a win for the Indiana Fever against the Atlanta Dream. Good teams win ugly. And that was what was most impressive to me about the Fever's performance against the Dream.
On most teams, when your superstar struggles like this on the road, it usually spells disaster. Caitlin Clark picked up 5 personal fouls, limiting her impact on both ends of the floor and keeping her sidelined during key moments. For a team that relies heavily on its star, these kinds of setbacks often lead to a blowout loss, but the Fever were built differently.
But getting in foul trouble early, I think, messed up her rhythm, and she didn't really have her legs, because it certainly was one of the worst performances of Clark's career from a production standpoint offensively. First time in her career she didn't hit a 3. So nothing to write home about from Cece. But that's okay, right? Even when, that's happening, game's on the line, she's got the basketball. She's got the basketball, manipulates the defense, gets it to AB, who puts it away.
But this is where the 2025 Fever proved they had evolved into something far greater than anyone expected. With Caitlin Clark struggling, Natasha Howard rose to the occasion, dropping a game-high 26 points on an impressive 12 of 17 shooting performance.
Shout out to Natasha Howard, I will say. You didn't have a good game last game. You bounced back today. If I'm the Atlanta Dream coach, I'm going into tonight with a game plan. Folks, make Natasha Howard beat us. Don't let Caitlin Clark beat us. Don't let Kelsey Mitchell beat us. Don't let Aaliyah Boston beat us. Make Natasha Howard beat us. And Natasha Howard, she took on that challenge and she came through. Let's just think back a year ago. Who's that going to be? Katie Lou? Nope. Erica Wheeler? Nope. Nalissa Smith, you make me laugh.
This performance completely wiped away her rough outing in the previous game against Atlanta. Howard took control in the second half, scoring 18 of her 26 points after the break, including 13 in a dominant third quarter alone. She also pulled down 7 rebounds, stepping up and taking over exactly when her team needed her the most.
That's why we at least go out and get somebody like Natasha Howard that when Caitlin Clark, Kelsey, and AB aren't hitting, when Caitlin Clark, Kelsey, and AB are getting hoed with fouls, there's somebody there that's competent offensively that can keep us in the game. And Natasha Howard, you did just that. 26 points, 7 rebounds. Way to go, Natasha Howard.
Sophie Cunningham's return from an ankle injury was nothing short of seamless. In just 20 minutes on the court, she scored 9 points and grabbed 6 rebounds. Cunningham knocked down her first three-pointer of the season and ignited an 11-0 run that swung the momentum back in the Fever's favor. Her debut brought immediate energy on both ends of the floor, even drawing an offensive foul in the final seconds, showing her impact went well beyond the stat sheet. Meanwhile, Lexi Hull kept up her strong season with 10 vital points off the bench and 4 assists, matching her career high. Her all-around contribution proved that the depth many doubted was very much real. The bench wasn't a liability, it was a weapon.
Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull are the real deal. That's what it does look like. It looks like these two off the bench, you can name whoever you want. These two ladies off the bench are going to be the most impactful duo in the WNBA, hands down. Hands down, these two are going to be the most impactful duo in the WNBA off the bench. They bring the energy, they bring the heat, they're able to score, they play defense.
The Fever's bench outscored Atlanta's reserves by 16 points, a complete turnaround from their previous matchup, where the Dream's depth had given them a clear edge. Players like Cunningham and Hull delivered key scoring and defensive plays, making the Fever's improved depth and versatility impossible to ignore. This wasn't just a team win, it was proof that the Fever had become a serious threat, armed with multiple weapons. When one star struggled, 3 others stepped up to fill the gap. The supporting cast didn't just survive Clark's off night, they thrived.
Stephanie White, folks, we were up 3 points in the last minute. Stephanie White puts Sophie and Lexi and they say, press. In the last minute, Stephanie White says, Sophie, Lexi, press. Don't make it easy on them. Don't let them get into their offense. We got to hassle them. We got to haggle them. We got to get on them. We need to force them to make decisions before they want to. And Sophie and Lexi did just that. Those two, great job tonight.
Clark's struggles actually revealed something more important than any single performance. This team can win championships. True championship teams need multiple players who can take control when it matters. They need depth that can withstand pressure, and role players who step up as stars when the moment demands it. The Fever showed all these qualities in one road game against a strong opponent. Brittney Griner entered the game expecting to do what she always does to smaller teams: completely dominate the paint. Standing 6 feet 9 inches, Griner should have been the most unstoppable force on the court. She had already proven her impact against Indiana in their first meeting, and everyone knew Atlanta would feed her the ball early and often.
That's toughness on display. Fighting through it. It ain't always going to go your way. And then, like I said, some of the new players, I think Natasha Howard was excellent in this game. She was excellent in this game. And there were some, connections between her and Clark. Then there was Sophie Cunningham, who was also back for the first time, who's just an excellent all-around basketball player. And you could see it here. Clark with the get-ahead to Cunningham and the finish. I mean, Cece's just such a gifted passer.
The Fever didn't have a traditional center who could match Griner's size. Coach Stephanie White openly acknowledged the tough matchup challenges her team faced against the Dream, especially given Atlanta's size advantage with players like Griner and Brianna Jones. White stressed that the Fever had to rely on their versatility and depth to counteract the Dream's size. This strategic shift was key for the rematch, but something unusual started happening. Every time Griner touched the ball, Indiana players swarmed her from every direction. The Fever's defensive plan was pure chaos theory. Help defenders came from unexpected spots, players rotated constantly, and double teams appeared out of nowhere, disrupting what should have been an easy dominance in the paint.
Damaris Dantas, 17 minutes. Yeah, 1 for 5. Stephanie White, again, to her credit. Did you see what she did today with Dantas? Did you see what she did tonight with Dantas? Brittney Griner, are you in? You're in? Cool. Dantas, get in there. Brittney Griner, you're out? Cool. Dantas, get out. Brittney Griner, you're coming back in? Cool. Dantas, get back in. Griner, you're out? Dantas, you're done here.
The Fever's defensive approach was what Coach White called a collective effort. They committed to being physical on every single possession. Every time Griner touched the ball, it turned into a battle. Indiana players weren't afraid to take fouls just to break her rhythm and make her work harder for every point. This defensive intensity was a huge step up from the first game. The Fever out-rebounded the Dream 41-37, a massive turnaround, and held Atlanta to only 76 points on their home court. The increased physicality was clear to anyone watching. Griner's frustration grew with every missed shot and every whistle that didn't go her way. Her shots got tougher, her rhythm broke down, and the constant wear and tear showed on every possession.
I felt like our depth came into play there, being able to go to our bench and bring a different defensive coverage and intensity level, and that allowed us to get out in transition. I mean, we're going to be at our best when we're in transition, and I felt like in that second quarter we were able to get out a little bit.
With just 3:38 left in the game, the inevitable happened. Brittney fouled out, finishing with only 5 points and 7 rebounds. This was the second time this season she fouled out against the Fever. Indiana's defensive strategy had proven its effectiveness beyond doubt. Through sheer determination and team defense, they successfully neutralized Atlanta's biggest weapon. They forced her into difficult situations all game long, making every possession a fight and systematically wearing her down. The moment their star player had to leave the court in foul trouble, Atlanta's game plan fell apart. Without their dominant big, the Dream's ability to score in the paint was crippled, and their offensive flow completely disrupted. The Fever closed out the game with confidence, even without their primary scoring threat when it mattered most.
Brittney Griner tried to post up Damaris and failed to post up Damaris. She tried to move Damaris off the block on defense. She failed to move Damaris off the block on defense. Damaris Dantas isn't only a big body, she's a strong SOB. And Brittney Griner found that out firsthand tonight.
With tensions already boiling in this revenge game, Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard came face-to-face in a heated exchange that revealed exactly what kind of competitor Clark is. After a tough foul, the two started talking, and the cameras caught Clark saying something that perfectly summed up her mindset in that intense moment.
Let's start with the one that's going to be shared everywhere.
Howard, the first overall pick back in 2022, was doing everything she could to intimidate the sophomore in this crucial road game. She'd been tasked with guarding Clark all night, making every possession physical and relentless. As a seasoned veteran, Howard was testing Clark's mental toughness, the kind of challenge that established players throw at rising stars to see what they're really made of.
Look, Ryan Howard was up in her grill all game, and there's the bump, there's the physical challenge there, and some words for Clark. But if you could see, Clark has some words back, and those words, if you lip read appropriately, or it seems like from the lip readers out there, were, "I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not scared of you. I'm sorry."
But Clark looked Howard straight in the eyes and said, "I'm not scared of you," with a confidence that separates stars from superstars. She even put her shoulder into Howard's chest during the exchange, then gave her a sarcastic thumbs up, making it clear she wasn't backing down from anyone. The moment was caught on camera and instantly went viral across social media.
"I'm not scared of you." With that face, and that's competing. That's good basketball. That's fine. Howard wanted the challenge. I loved it. I love that. You just can't let, people play Clark like they're bumping her at the line of scrimmage and not call a foul. You got to call those fouls. Get them in foul trouble.
This wasn't just trash talk. It was a declaration that the Fever's young core wouldn't be pushed around anymore. Clark's response sent a powerful message to her teammates. They belonged on this stage. She showed them how to handle the pressure from veteran players trying to intimidate them. The crowd at State Farm Arena grew louder after the exchange, and the game intensified on both ends. Both teams started playing with playoff-level intensity, and the emotional fire from that moment spread to every player on the court. The atmosphere became absolutely electric.
Overall, it was the response from the Fever that impressed me the most to come away with this win. I said the last game was an impressive loss because things didn't go right and they were almost there and they came back. And this is sort of the, same side of that coin.
Clark's willingness to stand up to Howard showed her teammates she was ready to fight for every possession. She demonstrated the kind of leadership championship teams need. Even veterans like Natasha Howard responded to Clark's energy, and the entire team elevated their game after seeing their star refuse to be intimidated. Though Clark went 0 for 5 from three-point range and scored just 11 points, her impact went far beyond stats. She was showing a championship mentality, leading through toughness and heart, proving that leadership can win games even when shots aren't falling.
It's huge. And, again, our depth and our ability to play different lineups, our ability to lift one another up if we don't have it. I mean, I thought Damaris Dantas was huge for us when AB got in foul trouble. And, it's easy to look at numbers, but what she brought in terms of her ability to move the ball, her defensive physicality was huge. Obviously what Lexi and Sophie bring for us, and even Sid. I mean, she hadn't played the whole game, and we throw her in there in some time and score situations. We have a team that we can go 11 deep.
That exchange became the emotional turning point where the Fever proved they belonged on the biggest stages. The team fed off Clark's energy and confidence, playing with more aggression on defense and attacking the rim with renewed purpose on offense. Championship teams need players who won't back down from anyone, and Clark showed she was built for those moments. Despite being just a sophomore, she handled the pressure like a seasoned veteran. Her response to Howard's challenge proved she has the mental toughness to lead this team to titles. That moment revealed exactly why the Fever believe they can compete with anyone in the league.
We talk a lot about some days it's going to be your day, some day it's not, right? We have to choose the we over the me. And we have to stay ready, so we don't have to get ready. Every single person that impacted this game in a positive way, and I'm really proud of them.
This revenge win in Atlanta proved the Indiana Fever had transformed from a rebuilding team into a legitimate championship contender. With depth, toughness, and multiple ways to win, they held the dream to just 36% shooting from the field and outscored Atlanta in the paint 46-20. 4 different players scored in double figures. The fact that they dominated on the road, even without their best player having her best night, shows this team is ready for whatever 2025 brings. Clark went scoreless from three-point range, but the Fever still won by double digits. That's championship-level depth right there. Comment, fired up for the Fever down below. to show how proud you are of the win. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.